Well, guys, as promised, heated seats in my Can-Am X3. So I bought one set of seats I wasn't happy with. They came in wrong. The guys are, it's a hit or miss from China sometimes. But I found a U.S. source for less than 40 bucks, and I really like this setup. So you can tell this is going to fit right in your rocker switch placement in your unit. This is I think it's 5-position. Let's see, 5-position heat left and right. So that's going to look real slick up there with no problems. This is a straightforward kit, guys. This is going to go in so quick, per se. Every time I say that, it takes forever. Something goes wrong. But these are already pre-wired harnesses up. These are your pads. 2 per seat, one for the top, one for the bottom. These have sticky pad on them. Not sure what this came with this. It's nowhere in the directions. These are some kind of heat shields. I'm going to do some online research on them. But here's your pads. These you can cut. You have to leave at least 11.5 inches on there, but you can cut from there down. You can cut a hole in them as long as you don't cut the sides, or as long as you don't cut within 11.5 inches of your actual wiring itself. I think it'll probably overheat on you, but as you can see, these are going to be real straightforward. 1 per seat. You're going to be able to unplug them when you take your seats out, which is really great. This is, again, straightforward wiring. There's your relay. All I've got to do is literally hook up a positive, negative, and then hook this up to the, and I'll probably run them both together. Hook these up to positive and negative as well, and I'm set. So I've already cleared out my Can-Am. I finished up my light bar and wired that in earlier, and so since I've had that out, this is going to be pretty straightforward. I have rerouted my winch rocker. I have a rocker for my winch, but I also have a wireless for my winch. Those of you who don't have a wireless for your winch, man, you can get that kit for less than 20 bucks to 40 bucks, depending on who you buy it from. I keep the little thing on my keychain here, in and out, pretty simple, and you can walk out and use it that way, no wires and what have you. I'm going to run it straight down and over. Here is Can-Am's wonderful block that they put in. This is a switched block, so it is going to give you, here's the ground up here, here is the switched power, which means it's not going to come on, nothing's going to come on that's hooked to this positive until the actual power in the unit comes on, and then you have it. So it's perfect for the heated seats. They're not going to be left on and run down your battery or what have you. So there's where I'm going to do that. That's a simple 10 millimeter that all you do is pull it off. I just finished wiring in my my front light. Trying out some on the left side, instead of taking that seat out right now, some seat extensions. These are 2-inch. They make them 1.5 to 2 out there on the internet. So I'm trying those out when I put the seat back in to see if I want those extended up. My wife's always complaining it's just too low when she drives it. So we'll see about that. But that's going to be straightforward. I'll show you how it goes on the seats in a little bit here. So I've got everything wired in. It took me about probably an hour, only because of 2 issues. Number one, I realized that these idiots from China never put an inline fuse before the relay, and that's bad news for heated seats. You can imagine the buildup of amps on that, and so I put an inline fuse right here, and I'm getting ready to tuck that in and clean it up. Here is where, I can't get my head right, but you can see I mounted the unit here. It does work. I've already tested everything. As soon as things go on, they turn red. You know they're on. If they're off, they're not glowing red. That was real simple. The other issue was they didn't give you any wiring instructions for the red and the yellow wire coming off of this unit. So I figured it out real quick, went online, and both should be to a switched outlets. So in other words, if it comes on, the red wire I think was to seeing that the left and right glowed when the unit's on. The other is the red when you turn it on and it glows. And the red is sort of like a radio amp switch. It allows the unit to actually work. So here's where we wired them, here and here. Remember to put yourself an inline fuse in the middle. That's all set there, and now we're on to the next phase of cutting and putting them in the actual seats themselves. So, all right, folks, I've already removed the seat. As you all know, the seat bottom cushion pops out. It's pretty simple. The beauty of Can-Am seats are that you can take the covers off of them. So it's just a matter of popping your covers off. This one's a little muddy and dirty over the course of the last year. But as you can see, it is pretty simple stuff to do this and to pop your seat cover off. These are Velcroed in to place. I have a Velcro center area as well. Excuse me. So what I'm probably going to do, that should be Velcroed as well. It is. Okay. Is I'm going to cut out a pattern here for the bottom seat itself. And there's not a whole lot I'm going to have to cut off here, it looks like. You don't want to get this unit too close to the edge from what they're saying, so you really want to put the unit in as far away from the edge as you can there, if you see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to trim this off right about here, just straight across for now. Okay, so that's probably going to give me just about where I want it to be. You notice that this right here kind of wraps in to there. It should fit into there once you get it in. Probably what I'm going to do is go ahead and make, they say you can cut out squares out of it, so I'm going to probably cut a couple of spots to give me some relief there. Let me pull it back up a little bit more so that I can at least use some of this Velcro again on this bottom seat. I'll just mark it for now and I'll get it cut in a little bit here. And so they say you can cut holes in it, and that'll give me a spot there. They say don't cut down the sides, you'll ruin the integrity of it, but you can cut holes across it and what have you. So I'll probably cut another hole here and another hole here, and that's just to hold that Velcro into place for this seat cover. Here we won't have to worry, back there we won't. I'll trim off the very edge of that because there is no webbing there, so we'll be okay there. And I'll get her form fit in a bit here. Well, folks, the heated seats are now installed. I showed you the bottoms, how easy they are to take them off. Here on the tops, you're going to find tucked in right here at the very bottom, you're going to find a button zip strip here. You can replace them with just typical zip ties here if you want to, because those button zips are hard to find. You can get them, but no use having them. A zip tie works. So one on each side. There's a metal bar up here just like in the bottom of the seat to hold it in. That pops it up. Same thing here. All of this comes off. Put your pad down facing down and then run your wires towards the center on both sides. In this thing, it turned out really good. I've got the pad down the center. I did cut out a couple of slots for this to tuck in again with the Velcro so that the seat cushions stay into place. You lose a little bit of integrity with the seats, but again, with actually tucking them in, but the sides do tuck in really good. You just lose a little bit of it right here, but that's okay. And so, as you can see, that's the final look of the unit. Let's get some power to it. It automatically lights up when it's on. As soon as you turn the seats on, zero to 5 on both sides. I've got some noise feedback. I've already got an isolator on here. I'm gonna have to isolate again somehow for my stereo, but it doesn't seem to affect along the way once the unit started. But they actually warm up pretty good. I don't see any issues so far. The only thing that you mutters and water guys probably wouldn't want to do is put these in. Not that they're going to shock you, but let's face it, you start getting that mesh wet constantly and have these seats soaking wet, it's going to defeat the purpose. You're going to be replacing those pads left and right. But the beauty of them is you can replace those pads pretty cheap. Use your old one as a template. You can replace them in 15 minutes a pop. And those things run about $5 a piece, really. You get 2 for $10 or something like that from China. So I bought a couple of extras that I've got laying around for these things when they go out. I'm going to probably put these in my Commander as well. One of the other things that I did was when most of you have an extra, you realize that there's not a whole lot of view over that long front end, especially for guys like me who do more technical riding. I'm not a big mutter. I love to ride technical. So we go to Austin and ride hill country and do some serious rock crawling type stuff. It's hard to see over that front edge, so I angled my front light down as well. But what I also did when I put this seat back in, I added like 4 washers to each side, and that brought it up, I want to say about 3/4 of an inch almost on this side, so it's now tilted forward. There, I went online to bentmetal.com and bentmetalutv.com, I think is what it is, and I bought a 2-inch risers for each side. All it is a flange nut bolt with a bolt on the end of it, and you can just screw it down on top of the 2 bolts, and I extended that up 2 inches. I'm 6 foot tall, and that seat still, you notice how much higher it is than the actual seat belts in there. That 2 inches, I'm 6 foot tall, and I'm still not hitting my head on the ceiling by a mile. So I'm going to give this a try and see if that works for me, to see over the front a little bit better, and if it's still a very comfortable position to ride in. And I'll let you folks know, and once I go riding, hopefully this weekend, if the weather finally clears up, and let you know if that's worth spending I think that was $35 for the 2-inch up. They have a 1 inch, a 1.5 inch, and a 2 inch. I went the full 2 inches, and just to see what happens. And if not, I'll take it out and put the 4 washers in on each side and at least bring it up a little bit. So I'll keep you all abreast of that and let you know how that works out. Hope this was helpful. This here went in with just a couple of modifications. This box is actually a little bit larger than the cutout for that, but I just used a utility knife and cut all 4 corners out. Took me another, whole 5-6 minutes to cut it out, and it slid right in there, and it's pretty solid. Don't like the look of it as much as I do the rest of my switches, because I try to keep uniformity in the quality of my switches, but it works. Oh yeah, that's toasty. So works, looks good. I'm happy, and I'll keep adding. So I'm hoping to finish up the turn signals. I'm going to get a surprise part that I found online today that's actually in Houston, and I'll let you guys know if it works out. And on my turn signals, didn't want to put one of those silly looking turn signal stocks on, but I may have found one for like $22 that I might be really happy with. So I'll let you all know when that gets in, and that'll go on my turn signal update here in the next few days. Thanks, and listen, if this is helpful, please subscribe, please like, but and keep it moving along so that I can continue to post these. Have a great day, guys.